Mythbusters, a Titanic-sized legend. Will a sinking ship suck you down as it goes under?
The speed of descent was just like whoosh.
Are goldfish in a bowl bored or simply stupid?
Oh, not bag.
And does their memory last more than 3 seconds?
I got all the smart ones. He got all the stupid ones.
Don't blame me, I'm only the trombone player. A musical myth with highly explosive results.
It did hit him.
Earth's on fire.
Who are the Mythbusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage.
I always enjoyed seeing Adam in pain.
Oh! And Jamie Heineman.
Jamie wants big boom.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
Feel kind of sexy.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Well, there's a myth that says that if you're on a ship when it's sinking, it'll suck you down with it.
You're telling me this thing, when it goes down, I'm gonna go down with it because it's gonna suck me down?
Yeah.
A sinking ship is every sailor's worst nightmare. Take this deliberate sinking in Canada. It graphically illustrates the force created when a large ship goes under. Heather Joseph Witham studies folklore, including harsh tales of the sea.
The idea is that if there's a large ship that's going to be sinking, the passengers need to get as far away from the ship as they possibly can, because the ship will go down in the water and a tremendous suction will be created, and it will draw anyone and anything down with it. When the Titanic went down, we have numerous accounts of people who were swimming or who were on lifeboats, and they all said, our lives were saved because we had some strong men rowing the boat and we got far away from the suction of the boat sinking.
Well, Jamie, what are we gonna test for this? What are the prevailing theories behind a boat sucking you down?
Well, apparently there are three. And the first one is that air that mixes in with the water as it rushes up from the boat makes the water less dense. And so it's like you're gonna fall through the water quicker that way. The second theory is that the cavities in the ship will create an area for the water to rush in, and that'll pull you into the ship. And then the third one is that the ship moving through the water rapidly towards the bottom will create a vortex above it, kind of like drafting behind a truck when it's on the highway.
Well, you know, all those three theories seem to me simple enough to actually test in the shop. I think I could build a small water rig with a bubbler and some weights and some small boats, and we could see all three of these theories right in their shop.
Yeah, but, you know, I still think we need a real boat. People aren't going to get it unless we do it with a real boat.
Until they find a suitable boat, Adam sets out to test the vortex and bubble density theories on a small scale.
Well, what I made is a miniature bubbling rig, and we're trying to show whether or not the ship produces lots of bubbles, and the bubbles lower the density of the water and people sink, whereas normally they'd float, or whether it creates a vortex that pulls things in after it.
But Adam soon runs into some fundamental problems.
This would be the Titanic. This is a lead weight. It's pretty darn heavy. And let's say that is our person right there. Are we ready? Squat. Nothing.
To make this work, Adam has to rethink his ratios of weight, density, and buoyancy. Time to think big. Adam is building a rig 4 feet square by 10 feet high. They will then attach an electric winch and guide wires to hold a special box that will simulate the action of a sinking boat.
So right now I'm actually just finishing up the PVC matrix that will be our bubbler, and hopefully it'll provide us with a really attractive stream of bubbles. Then I'm going to make a panel for the top of this box, which has a hole in it, so that not only can we test what happens when you drop a weight in water, but when you drop a weight with an air gap in it, we can see what happens. We're going to fill this with 25-pound barbell weights.
Meanwhile, the search for the ideal sinkable boat begins among the marinas of Embarcadero Cove in Oakland, California. This hunt won't be easy. The boat they need must sink effortlessly. Any vessel too buoyant will be a problem.
There we go. The boat was a piece of junk, which doesn't make me feel too bad about sinking it. For a boat this size, it's actually got a fair amount of volume, which is what we need. It'd be a perfect boat for us, except for the fact that it's wood, and I don't think it'll go down too quick, because wood typically floats. We're looking for the largest boat that we can afford to sink quickly, and that, by my mind, would have to be a steel boat.
A heavy steel tugboat catches their eye, but it quickly becomes obvious that this old hulk is way beyond their needs.
I think this boat is so perfect for our Titanic rig, it would make me cry if we were able to get it. It does, however, look like quite a deal to make it go.
So, testing the myth of the Titanic will have to wait. Does a goldfish's memory last more than 3 seconds?
He's looking at it, he's trying to eat it.
Jamie and Adam are locked in combat.
We have to identify the smart ones.
Who's the superior fish wrangler?
Back in the Amazon, when I used to train piranhas.
Oh, and does a goldfish's memory last more than 3 seconds?
This myth's a pretty laid-back one, huh, Jamie?
Yeah, the myth says that you can put a goldfish in a small bowl and they're okay with it because they're so stupid that by the time they make it around the bowl, in like about 3 seconds, they've just forgotten where they were.
I think that we tell this story in order to placate ourselves and allow us to keep animals in a small tank, which usually we would perceive as being kind of cruel. And you could certainly keep it in a small bowl because every time it goes around that bowl, it's a new experience.
So what we really want to test here is what is the memory span of the average goldfish?
Well, what I thought we'd do is build a maze. And the goldfish will have to be taught how to make it through the maze. And if they can remember that, we'll know a little bit more how smart they are.
So what you're talking about is not just a goldfish intelligence test, but a Mythbusters intelligence test as well.
You could look at it that way.
One that I think I will win.
So the guys want to train goldfish to swim through a maze. If they do it, they'll prove they're smarter than we think. The goldfish will look clever too.
Have you heard of the myth that goldfish only have 3 seconds of memory?
Yes, I have. Their brains are pretty small, and it's about 2% of their body weight, so you can figure that they're not going to have too much of a memory.
Steve, the pet shop guy, has all the fish and all the accessories the Mythbusters need.
I think this is definitely the one for me, Jamie. It's the deep sea diver with the shark.
But the goldfish have needs too.
This is a 38-gallon. I have the best food for goldfish. You make sure that you have a good water conditioner.
Those are perfect. What do we need, 10 of those?
Yeah, 5.
5 in each tank?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the easiest sale Steve's ever made. 2 tanks, 10 fish, and enough supplies to feed a whale. Jamie and Adam have given themselves 45 days to train the fish and bust the myth. They've each got a tank, and each will devise their own training method. The competition is heating up.
I think that I shall be the best trainer, purely because of the fact that training animals requires, above all, consistency. Adam is not a very consistent person.
Turns out Jamie has another advantage. He used to own a pet shop, and he knows his fish.
In addition to his time in the Special Forces and being the international whist champion and even being a lion owner, Jamie's probably one of only a handful of people in the world who's actually trained a goldfish to ring a bell. I don't have anything like that kind of pedigree with goldfish training regimens. Ah, look at that.
Undaunted, Adam is determined to rise to the ultimate challenge of teaching fish to swim through a
I
maze.
think I'm, in fact, just gonna leave mine totally uncovered. I'm gonna kick your goldfish ass.
Meanwhile, to test if a deadly vortex forms around a sinking ship, Encinal High School in Alameda agrees to host the Mythbusters mid-size experiment.
You'll have to walk
The
it.
school's diving pool, at 12 feet deep, is ideal for the new rig.
Oh, it's a beautiful story.
The plan is to see what specific forces are in play when a ship sinks.
At this point, I really don't know what's going to happen with this. You know, my impression is that if you're floating above a boat as it's going down, it's not really going to pull you down.
Jamie's pessimistic about the vortex theory, but he's open to the bubbles creating lower density.
I don't know whether it's going to buoy you up because of all the bubbles going up, or whether the bubbles will make the water in that area less dense, will make you go down. It'll be interesting to see. This is lead shot.
Water density is the key, so they've made a hydrometer, a simple flotation device that measures the specific gravity or density of a liquid.
We will see how much the density of the water changes by how far this goes up and down when the water is aerated. That's perfect.
Experiment 1, the bubble test.
A compressor will supply air to Adam's PVC bubble matrix.
Okay, I'm going.
All right, I'm gonna watch it. Oh, that looks cool from here.
It looks like it's going down. Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
way down.
Okay, it's out of the, looks like somebody's gonna have to get their swim trunks on.
And that was all the encouragement Adam needed on a warm California day.
Can we blur out the love handles? Be nice to me, all right?
Happy with the bubble effect, their first weight test should determine if volume makes it easier to be dragged down. So to get a closer simulation of a sinking boat, the box is positioned on the surface and loaded with 200 pounds. They hope the inrush of water to the empty box will drive the vortex effect.
Good, go. Wow,
I pulled it down.
that was intense. I didn't realize that the result would be so marked. When I'm in the water, as the weight releases, I can definitely feel it pushing this cushion of water out around it as it's plummeting. And I'll tell you straight up, based on what I see here, you would definitely get sucked down, and I think the bigger the object, the bigger the suck.
To test Adam's bigger suction theory, they increase the box weight to 300 pounds.
All right, hydrometer is ready.
Okay, going.
Go.
Nice sound. Where's the hydrometer?
There it is.
That pretty much says it.
Wow. I mean, it went all the way to the bottom and hung out there for a while.
Once again, the box filled rapidly, dropped like a stone, and pulled the hydrometer down entirely.
Hold on.
Now, it's Adam's turn to ride the vortex.
Okay, ow, first of all. Second of all, you can feel yourself in the vortex as you're going down. I mean, I did not separate from the box at all. My buoyancy had no bearing on the matter. I just sunk right with it until I hit the bottom. That was intense.
The pool testing is done, and Adam's up for the real thing. 2 boats have already been rejected as unsuitable, but after some good detective work, they find a very likely candidate. Another old tug, but at 9 tons, this one is more suitable.
It's a nice solid little hunk of steel. I think it ought to go down like a rock. Seems like it's pretty rugged. There's a lot of tie points for us to get a hold of, to tow it around and lift it and stuff like that. So I think it's perfect.
I think it's fantastic. It's totally ideal. I mean, yeah, it'd be great if it was bigger, but I gotta tell you, that 300-pound weight yanked me down with a lot more force than I thought was possible.
Yeah.
This ought to do it quite handily.
Ship chosen. Now, the preparation.
We're gonna go cut some holes in the boat.
Sinking a boat isn't easy. In British Columbia, Canada, the Artificial Reef Society regularly sends unwanted ships to the bottom. They are reborn as prime diving sites and marine habitats. To send ships down safely, holes are cut on both sides so that water rushes in and the air rushes out. Jamie and Adam may need to scuttle their boat several times, so holes will be cut below the waterline that can be re-plugged.
What we have are some large threaded fittings which we're going to weld into the holes that we cut in the boat, and we'll simply unscrew them to let water in.
Unnecessary holes are sealed so the boat can be towed. To avoid polluting the bay, loose rust and other debris is cleaned off. And they have a solid plan for bringing the boat back up again.
What we have is a cable harness which we've had constructed to spec based on the weight of the boat. And it will have 4 lines on it going to a central point on the cable that the crane pulls up. When we want to bring the boat back up, then I will have to go down in scuba gear and reattach the rear 2 lines manually when the boat is on the bottom, and then we'll pull it back up with the crane.
A quick name change and Mythtanic is ready for launching. But no one told them changing a boat's name is bad luck.
So this is the moment of truth. We get to see if the valves we welded in actually work, or if the boat sinks right off the pier. My boat is that it doesn't sink. Well, all 3 of the valves are leaking right around the welds. Just a little tiny leak, but so maybe we can throw a bilge pump in it tonight. I don't know. Those were Jamie's welds.
One thing Adam does not dispute is Jamie's considerable underwater experience. For years, he ran a dive business in the Caribbean.
I'm a dive master. I've done thousands of dives. I've salvaged boats. I have spent, person years in the water, basically. I'm actually not all that excited about being in this particular water. I like it where it's clear and warm and pretty, and we're going to be in the bay, and it's cold and dark and murky.
So while Jamie worries,
careful, it might roll and you get caught.
it's day 1 of the Great Goldfish Challenge.
How's it going?
Jamie and Adam are trying to bust the myth that goldfish only have a 3-second memory by training them to swim through a simple maze. But this challenge has already transcended the myth. It's a battle for bragging rights. The boys each have their own tank and fish and are vying to prove they're the better trainer. The competition is fierce.
Oh, he so better not go get a tube and feed them with a tube, because I'll kick his butt. That was my idea.
In fact, Jamie has something entirely different in mind. He's making bright plastic holes, which he hopes will be to the fish's liking.
I'm going to get them used to taking their food out of the middle of the hole by making this colorful hole that they'll easily recognize, that has some mesh suspended in the middle of it that will put the food in.
Jamie's holes are already attracting interest. But will the fish be as attracted to the holes as Adam is?
I saw one come down out of the hole. Maybe they'll start to look around and eventually find it. There we go, you're looking at it. He's looking at it, he's trying to eat it. Oh my God, he's taking the bait, almost. We have to identify the smart ones.
School is in for Adam too. He's trying to be the goldfish, to understand their needs. He has an idea. Instead of using the store-bought tank dividers, Adam is making his own out of plastic. He'll custom make the course based on his deep grasp of fish behavior.
If I get them comfortable with the fact that they can go through, perhaps they'll understand that there is a way to get there, because all they see is just this black ring that's exposed. They don't know that they can actually go and swim around over there.
So they have their strategies, and the battle of the fish tanks is on. Adam's clear dividers versus Jamie's gaudy plastic. May the best fish man win. 8 days since the Goldfish Memory Challenge began, and Adam's got a problem. Or rather, his fish do.
It smells. Oh no! Oh no! I've got a dead fish. Oh. It's okay, something's going on. I don't like this whole thing. I'm gonna call the pet store. I'm gonna replace the water completely. Jamie's water's clearer. Mine's really, really foggy. The thing is the tank is really foggy, and then last night, one of the goldfish died. Okay.
Turns out the filter hasn't removed the ammonia in the water created by the fish waste.
A tank that's working correctly has a certain amount of bacteria that's grown in the filter that processes the ammonia. It actually takes like 4 to 8 weeks for it to fully take effect.
Given everything is going so swimmingly in Jamie's tank, perhaps Adam's solid plastic dividers are messing with the filter. Whatever the cause, 8 weeks is time Adam just doesn't have.
I'm trying to train them, but it turns out I'm just trying to keep them alive.
Jamie's fish aren't just alive, they're happy, healthy, and apparently pretty smart.
They seem to know automatically where the food is. I would say that even now, even though we haven't got them to go really through anything in terms of a maze as such, that the myth is busted because they clearly recognize either me or the location where the food is being delivered. They are clearly capable of some sort of minimal memory.
I think the myth that goldfish are easy to maintain and hardy fish has also been busted.
There are 3 weeks left in this challenge. Adam has a lot of ground to make up.
Oh, look, they're even growing little Jamie mustaches now. They're like, oh, thanks for the food every morning.
The Mythbusters in a music store? Have Jamie and Adam given up their destructive ways? Are they replacing mayhem with Mozart?
We're looking for something in a trombone.
Okay, and like for a student,
Well, actually, we want to blow it up.
you want to blow it up.
So, Hayden, now we've got one to bust with a musical theme.
Yes, we have a trombonist in an orchestra that was playing the 1812 overture. And the trombonist decides to spice things up a bit by putting a firecracker into the mute of his trombone. He sets it off, intending to shoot the mute out over the audience. However, it hits the conductor, knocks the conductor off the stage and into the audience, knocking them over like dominoes. Blows the bell of the trombone wide open, shoots the slide out, hitting the second violinist, I believe, and burns his lips.
What's the plan? Where do we start?
Well, we're not going to be able to do anything without some trombones.
And so, to the music store.
Okay, well, maybe we'll look at some used trombones. Follow me.
Down in the Best Music basement, there's a band of merry men conducting repairs. It seems music does not always soothe the savage beast.
We've had an instrument that an angry girlfriend took her anger out on, and this was a Selmer Paris saxophone originally.
A sex scandal for sure. But the guys are more interested in creating a trombone tragedy.
But these are your standard tenor trombone that are usually going to be used by a lead player.
I think the low end of the spectrum is exactly where we are. We don't want to remove anything nicely playable from the world. We'd rather just take a junker and put it out of its misery. I suppose they'll all blow up about the same.
The trombones are selected for their final curtain. Now the guys need a mute to silence the myth.
think that's the one I like the look.
Yeah, this is like, you know, kind of looks like it ought to be fired like a stinger, you know.
Back at the workshop, Buster the crash test dummy is being readied for his next indignity. This time, he'll play the conductor hit by the mute. That's if he can stand up.
All right, let's see how you're standing up. Just hold my hand. The one standing crash test dummy, actually technically in the industry known as a pedestrian dummy.
There'll be nothing pedestrian about the explosion if Jamie has his way. He's grinding up the fuel used in bottle rockets to help give the mute a lift.
I made a long tube, and we made it so that it inserts like so into the mute, and I believe this will actually propel this thing pretty good like a rocket.
Understandably, none of the local concert halls were enthusiastic about having the Mythbusters come and blow up Trombone. Instead, the guys have set up their own, safer theater.
He's pretty floppy. It's like trying to get a dead guy to stand up.
Once again, Buster will take center stage, though it seems the limelight is losing its appeal. It was a bold bid for freedom, but Buster will have to face the one trombone firing squad. Expert pyrotechnician Jack Morocco will be helping with this special performance.
Just another day of blowing something up.
For the first attempt, they'll be using a lethal variety of Chinese fireworks.
This is one of those myths that has a whole sequence of events that have to go off like clockwork for this to be replicated accurately.
Remember, this story is about a musician with an explosive in his trombone who apparently blew over the conductor during the 1812 overture.
I think it's going to be a nice loud bang. I think it's going to destroy the mute right off. I don't think nearly anything that we're going to be able to do is actually going to get the mute to Buster.
Continuity's good.
All right. Is everyone behind the barrier?
For safety, they'll set the charge off remotely from behind Lexan blast screens.
All right, we're all rolling. Here we go.
Give us a countdown.
In 3, 2, 1.
That was fantastic.
Those Chinese firecrackers pack quite a wallop. The front of the mute is blown out in spectacular fashion.
Did that hit him in the chest?
Yes, it did.
Smacked him head on, looked like to me.
It blew the front right off of our mute and smacked into the music stand, knocking it over, and it hit Buster.
Might well have knocked Buster over if that hadn't hit the music stand first.
The horn doesn't seem to have received any abuse at all. I mean, the mute's actually been pushed out wherever it was contacting the horn. It was really hard to get out. And actually, also contrary to the myth, the slide did not move either.
So, only part of the myth is working, and the guys are really hoping for more trombone bang for their buck.
Feel like doing it again?
Sure, why not?
You know, it's when you get really excited that I get really nervous. If you could calm down just a little bit.
So how much mayhem would an exploding trombone cause during the 1812 overture? Jamie's about to try out his rocket-propelled mute. As many crushed-up model rocket engines as he can squeeze in, and a little more for good measure.
Hey, Jack?
Yes.
What would you think about also if I dumped a bunch of that crap down in the bell of the thing?
Yeah, we might actually blow that whole stand over.
That's good.
And we like that.
We like that. Here you go, Jamie.
Hold your breath.
So how much is in here?
It goes all the way to the tip. So it's 6 rocket engines.
Got a regular Panzerfaust here.
Jack is torn between caution and the myth-busting credo of detonate first, ask questions later.
Well, I sure hope we don't fly beyond our limits here. in 3, 2, 1.
Whoops. Well, it didn't go anywhere. That is
Won't be
gunpowder.
using that trombone.
Holy crap!
Why is he smoking so much? It looks like it did
This
hit him.
shirt's on fire.
And look, the slide's still in place.
Slide.
That, I think if it didn't blow off with that, it's not gonna.
The slide is still in place.
The mute flew out with enough force to knock Buster over. Once again, he's wondering about the Mythbusters medical plan.
Oh my God. Oh, hey, that's hot.
Yeah,
Oh,
it'll be hot.
Hey, yeah.
And the police, well, they just want to know what the heck is going on.
Have you got your permit handy?
Believe it or not, in its wisdom, the city of San Francisco has given the Mythbusters a license to wreak exactly this sort of havoc.
I think any day when we do something that brings the cops flocking to us, but then they have to let us continue doing what we're doing, is the perfect Mythbusters day.
But it seems this myth isn't perfect. Buster didn't fall back into the audience, and the trombone just won't play ball.
It didn't even remotely peel off the bell, like peel it back like a banana, like the myth says. And what we had was more powerful than any firecracker.
Yeah.
In fact, it's even more powerful than they thought. There's trombone shrapnel everywhere.
So these pieces right here bounced off the Lexan. There's a piece over there, and a piece over there.
Right there behind you.
And I heard them and felt them ricochet off the Lexan.
Yeah.
So Buster isn't the only one in danger here. But they'll try once more to recreate the myth. Jack's reloading a new trombone with even more powder.
Ready to fire in 3, 2, 1.
This myth just doesn't want to be replicated. No matter how hard Buster tries.
That's like some kind of modern art.
And the slide did not leave the trombone. We have taken this myth absolutely to pieces. This is another rarity for us. Every aspect of it is completely impossible. Hey, it still makes noise.
The rest just didn't happen. This musical myth has had its swan song.
So the spirit of the myth is kind of there, but I'd say overall the myth is busted.
I'd say we did the best we could with it, and yeah, it's absolutely busted.
It's been nearly 6 weeks since the Goldfish Challenge began. Today, all their hard work will be put to the test.
All right.
Remember, they're testing the myth goldfish only have a 3-second memory by trying to train them to swim through a simple maze. The Heinemann technique is to associate orange plastic with food. It's working.
Oh, look, they see the orange thing. They're wanting to go for it.
Jamie appears to have science on his side. Studies have shown that goldfish repeatedly respond to color for food rewards. In other words, they seem to have memory longer than 3 seconds. Camp Savage has struck troubled waters with an ammonia problem. There are only 2 contenders left.
And they just like, bang their heads in the corner over here.
The first to get fish through their maze wins and busts the myth.
Time this, starting now.
They're off and racing.
Hey guys, here's your food.
Go on, boys, there you go.
Jamie's school has learned its lessons well. But Adam's guys must have been playing hooky.
I think it's quite obvious what's happening, or not happening. They seem to be fascinated with their reflection on the other end of the tank.
Jamie's crew is halfway through and going swimmingly.
You know you want it. Look at them. They're frantic to get through there.
Maybe I should give them a compass.
Oh. Who's to say luck doesn't play a part in these things? They're through the first barrier, but not for long.
Oh, no, not back.
There's no backtracking in Jamie's tank. The first fish is through.
1 minute.
The rest of the gang isn't far behind, except one.
Interesting to note, there's one fish that is the stupidest one. There's a little red head and back, and he's the skinniest.
Adam apparently has 2 skinny fish.
I don't understand the total ignorance of this panel. It's like this wall doesn't even exist for him.
I would say that without a doubt, 1 minute to make it through the maze is a lot quicker than random.
And for Adam's fish?
9 minutes.
Day 43 of the Goldfish memory test, and Adam is still behind.
Listen, I don't have any work to do on this experiment. These fish have a lot of work to do. I'm just giving them the framework with which to prove themselves for all goldfish kind.
Adam just got stupid fish. What are you gonna do?
All right, boys, you ready?
Meanwhile, Jamie's A students are lining up at the gate.
They're looking perky this morning. Just going for it.
The starting gun has sounded. Jamie's looking to go under 60 seconds.
Oh. Yay, that was, let's see, 25 seconds. It's a record. They were like, definitely, way to go, guys.
Mine are eating their own poo.
Well, they seem healthy for all that.
I know that everyone's gonna take me to task for wasting these fish's time. Hey, they're both in the second chamber, though. Oh, they go back.
Can they remember for 3 seconds? I'd wager, you bet, and a lot more.
George Barlow from the University of California, Berkeley is a professor of integrated biology and a big fan of goldfish.
I guess there's some debate about this. Does conditioned behavior actually qualify as memory?
Sure. Any task that you can, in quotes, teach to an animal and then retest later, you have a very objective way of evaluating whether it remembered it. From what you've told me, I would say, yeah, you've blown away the myth that they can only remember for 3 seconds.
And one of the purported reasons behind the myth is so that people who keep goldfish in small bowls don't feel so bad. Do you think that it's actually cruel to keep goldfish in a bowl like that?
Well, we'll never know. Adolf Hitler thought it was cruel to keep goldfish in a bowl because there was no corner for them in which to hide, and had a law made prohibiting the use of bowls for goldfish. But I think in general, just an awful lot of fish kept in aquaria are bored.
Okay, guys. Are you awake this morning?
Jamie is confident his fish are drawing on all their memory cells. It's the final day, day 45. Will they find their food faster?
Okay, let's go.
All right, timer's starting.
There we go. We're going through 1. Now go back through. Oh, they're looking like they're gonna do it.
20 seconds.
Oh, they've lost the record.
25 seconds.
There we go. Almost.
35 seconds. Come on, handsome. Here it comes.
There we go.
Not bad at all. 40
seconds. I think that, judging by what I'm seeing, that's probably the threshold, plus or minus 30 seconds to get through. And 30 seconds, I think, is pretty good to make it through 4 holes. It's clear that they've learned, and it's clear that they do, in fact, have a memory longer than 3 seconds.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm impressed how fast that is. You know, my fish, on average, sort of randomly take between like 3 and 20 minutes to get to their food. I mean, you guys definitely know what's going on. Myth busted.
Thanks, Adam.
All right. Good night, fish.
See, it's that kind of behavior that screwed him up. It's like, good night, fish. Yeah, that helps.
Bang, bang, bang. They don't need to be trained anymore.
Does a sinking ship create a powerful drag on those in the water? Adam can't wait to find out. But unlike Jamie, during the test, Adam won't be using scuba. So in case of emergency, he has to learn to breathe from another diver's regulator.
I've been waiting half my life to see what it feels like to breathe underwater, and that's just like really cool. So I'm dying to be on that boat when it goes down. Like, I'm psyched. To have done that, like, I can't wait.
There are many amazing survival stories from ships lost at sea, especially during war, yet none so evocative as those told of the Titanic.
One story that contradicts the myth is that of Chief Baker Charles Joffin. Now, this man was having a good time the evening the Titanic sank. He was drinking a little bit, and then the entire trauma happened with the Titanic, and he found himself on the stern of the boat as the boat was going down. He said that going down with the boat while standing on the stern felt exactly like riding down an elevator. He said it was smooth sailing going down, and when it reached the water, he just stepped off into the water without even getting his hair wet, swam around for a while, and was picked up by a lifeboat and lived.
It's test day, and Adam's excited enough to be up before dawn.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, everyone else crapped out. I seem to be the only one who's taking the journey across the bay to deliver our little tugboat right here. Yeah, it's really nice being on the bay at dawn as the sun comes up. It's quite beautiful. And our little tug, the Mythbusters, is handling the trip just fine. Should be ready to sink.
Across the bay, the San Francisco dry dock workers are preparing for this unusual event. Their skill will help sink the boat and recover it.
All my life, my dad used to tell me that if a boat sinks, you have to swim away as quick as you can because you will be sucked down with it.
The tugboat captain, Greg Urban, knows these chilly, murky waters and the dangers they hold.
I'm very interested in seeing what happens. I'm glad it's you that's going to be standing on deck and not me, so I think you're going to get sucked down with it.
Despite the prediction, Jamie's still looking on the bright side.
Well, you know, it's a little brisk this morning, but at least it's warmer in the water, perhaps.
Somehow I don't think so.
With all his underwater expertise, Jamie knows this is risky. He's enlisted a dive buddy, Sean Wheelis, a professional with 13 years experience.
Tough to estimate what the visibility will be like. Sometimes currents make it better. With the silty bottom, often currents can stir it up a little bit worse. So it makes things a little harder, a little bit more dangerous, a little more complicated.
The tug tows the Titanic out to the end of the dry dock. To make salvage as easy as possible, it will be sunk right under the shadow of the big crane.
Swing it out, swing it out. Swing it out some more.
The boat is going to sink. We're going to find it, we're going to hook the cables up to it, we're going to bring it back up, and we're going to do it again until we get too cold or too tired to do it.
Hey, Adam, just letting you know we got 50 feet underneath your boat right now, 50 feet of water. Very cold water.
The biggest fear that I have is Adam's safety. You know, we don't really know what's going to happen with this boat. The water's murky, it's cold, it's deep. This is a dangerous stunt that we're doing, and I guess Adam's life is in my hands.
Adam doesn't wait around as the sea instantly gushes in.
They're only opening one valve, one valve.
Got 2 feet of water in here now.
The main job now is keeping the sinking ship in reach of the crane.
Guys, so hold on.
The tug gives the Mythtanic a gentle nudge into position.
2 feet away. All right, you're bumping. All right, it's going down, bro, it's going down.
Surprised by the sea's rapid inflow, Adam bails out early and misses his chance. Time to reflect and rethink the strategy.
Let you know where it is.
The speed of descent was just like whoosh. I mean, my job, I know, was to stay with the boat and feel the suction. But I swear to God, standing on there, my body just goes, move that way, not that way. Survival kicked in at a critical moment.
While Adam ponders his next brush with death, Jamie and Sean work 40 feet down in the dark for 30 minutes to reattach the salvage lines. Question is, are they game for take 2?
Are you insinuating that I might not have the cojones to follow through on this job?
I know you've got the cojones to do it. I'm only saying.
Then what's the question? It's
all right.
I don't really want to. I don't think that we're going to see anything different than what we already saw with that boat. You know, for us to get in that sweet spot might take us a half a dozen tries, and all it represents to me is a lot of work. But if you want to do it, I'm game. I just, you know, it was hard.
Yeah.
It's a difficult decision to scuttle the boat again, but they need a result. They resolve to do it with the cables in place, but slackened.
We've seen what the boat does. It's nothing that scary. I feel pretty good about lowering it on with the cables still attached this time, because they're so heavy, they just go down into the water.
Okay, hold on to that end back there.
This will be their last attempt to tackle the old Titanic myth. Would someone in the water be pulled down with the ship?
You guys watch out for the cable. Don't get tangled up on the cable. Okay, be careful, it might roll and you get caught. It's gonna roll, guys. Be careful. Stay with it, stay with it. There you go. Woo! Didn't suck you down, did it? I didn't see nobody get sucked in.
No suction.
No suction at all. I mean, I could not have been more central to the boat where it went down. I sat on it, the entire boat just dropped underneath me, and I hit the water, my neck hit the water, and I never went any lower.
And what did I say?
Once again, Heinemann, you were absolutely right about how the boat sank. So I say let's get this puppy back up and call it a day. I need a drink.
So no vortex with the Mythtanic. But how do they explain the dramatic tests in the swimming pool?
In our test, we used like 300 pounds, and it went right down really quickly. The boat's not built like that. It's a lot larger surface area. It didn't go down that fast.
Well, you know, Jamie, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say there is no effect. That myth is busted.
Yeah, I'd agree. You know, I was right there too. I didn't feel it. I didn't see it. Didn't happen.
You know, and with all the rigging and stuff that are on a normal ship, there are some very good reasons to swim away from a boat that's going down. It could pull you down, you get caught in the rigging, but none of them involve suction. And I know our boat wasn't as big as one of these, but with a 9-ton boat, I think you would have felt something.
I'd agree.